This video will give an overview of the prototype Light Tree's user interface, as well as a demo. The Light Tree contains a full-function computer. It's got a desktop similar to what you'd see on a Windows machine or Mac. You can do all the things you do on a regular computer. You can run a spreadsheet, play music, videos, play games, surf the web. I mean, it's a full-function computer. Not that there's any need to do that, but the fact that it is a computer gives us an opportunity to do more with it than our old trees do. You don't need it in normal operation, but it's extra functionality. Currently, we're displaying battery voltage, the ambient light sensor voltage, the console ID, the frequency channel. Haven't done it yet. It's easy to add statistics to display the average, medium, or max time between heats, and the actual heat time itself, statistics on that, or other race efficiency metrics. You can also program the Light Tree this way. You program just like we do the Farm Tech tree, using the push button and transmitting a signal from the console. But really all you need to do is enter in a console ID, and the frequency channel is determined from that. So that can be done without having to interrupt racing or do anything at all. You just enter it into the application interface. You can also do things like run my heat tracker application in a separate window, and have TV showing the current race and current heat, or even run apes on the same computer. There's no need to have a display, keyboard, or mouse, or anything like that connected directly to the tree itself. You just connect to it remotely via Wi-Fi. You can use an application like BNC on a Windows machine to see the desktop. BNC is built into the web browsers on Mac machines. In addition, it presents a Wi-Fi hotspot, so you connect to it just like you connect to a Wi-Fi router, and then you type in the password. Or it can also connect to an existing Wi-Fi router to have access to the web. So I'm going to start a VNC viewer. This just happens to be the IP address that the Light Tree has been assigned by my Wi-Fi router. I connect to it, and when I do that, we'll see the desktop of that Light Tree computer. It's running, and also the application running on that desktop, which is is what we're seeing here. Like I said, this is a full-function computer. It's got different things on it, development things. It's got spreadsheet, calculators, all kinds of things. But what we want to focus on is the application I wrote, the interface to the Light Tree. Look at the main window rather. I'm showing the console ID, the frequency channel, and this isn't running on an actual tree. This is just running on the standalone computer. The tree right now is in shipment to Dale for evaluation this weekend. The ambient light sensor voltage and some sliders to control the display brightness. There is hover help, so there's little pop-ups that show you more text about what this is. You might not be able to read it on this display size, but this says associated console ID. This pop-up will, you sit here and stay a while, the pop-up will come up. Frequency channel used to communicate with the Farm Tech console, etc. Everything has a pop-up to give you more information about it. The brightness and percent power are kind of useful. One thing that's nice about it is the brightness itself, you notice, isn't directly proportional to the power. At low power settings, you can get a lot more brightness by just a very small change in power. That's just the nature of the way the human eye perceives brightness, as well as the brightness of the LED versus its power. It's just nonlinear. Once you get up to about, it's very easy to get 75% brightness by only using about half the power. But you're really kind of wasting a lot of power if you go up, beyond that. You see, it takes a whole lot more power to get 90 versus 95%. So you don't want to be doing that if you're outdoors, or if you just didn't mind swapping batteries a lot. There's also a light sensor on the tree. This slider will adjust itself automatically as the ambient light changes, so that you don't have to adjust the brightness. If you have light shining through the windows like they do at Can-Am, and changing throughout the day. What happens when you click this button to say use an ambient light sensor, it captures the apparent brightness and then does adjustments as necessary as a function of the light sensor voltage. And to check what you've got, you can push the simulate start sequence button, and that'll actually do the starts. You can see if the brightness you have is appropriate. Underneath these are menu items here that we can go in and do some more things. The light bar, you can it has a separate 12-volt supply that you can disable. You might want to do that manually in case you just for some reason wanted to unplug a display and plug it back in again. You really wouldn't want to do that with power. it automatically gets turned on and off if you have this clicked. If you check that box, it's unchecked now, and you can check it again. What that says, it's a power save feature. Whenever the tree is in the ready mode, where the ready light's on, or after the head table pushes the clear time button, it just removes the power from the 12-volt display, which does save a lot of power, especially now that we have those red false start lights on so much of the time. There's also a button you can click that says shut down on exit. This is clicked, and it normally would be, except for development and demoing purposes, is that whenever you exit the application, it goes down, shuts down the entire system. I mentioned before you can program the tree using this interface. You can just, instead, this is just equivalent to going out to the tree and pushing and holding the button so it enters programming mode, and that's the way we do it with the Farm Tech tree. And if you're in that mode and you didn't really get a message, you want to go back to normal mode, you could click this button. But if you have the console ID, you can just type the console ID and click it in here and type it in this box, and you're done. You don't need to do anything from the console. There are also some test features that are mostly for me at this point in time, but we can just sort of illustrate the type of things you can do. We can go in, there's a chip that's used for the radio communication. You can read and write any of those registers. You can actually dump them all. Here's where we can simulate a start sequence as well as on that main menu. And you can also loop the start sequence. If you click on this and then click on start, it'll start doing a start sequence and run indefinitely until you come down here and push the stop sequence, and that'll make the start sequence stop. You can also simulate any of the events that can be sent from the console. If you click on this, you can turn red on, red off. You decide which side, left versus right, by this GUI, or both if it's something that applies to both. The ready LED on, ready LED off. Note that the start sequence won't work if you start unless the ready's on, because that's just the way the tree is designed to work. However, when you use this start button up here, it automatically turns the ready light on for you, so I have to push the button separately. So this one's more about just testing each individual event as a raw event and making sure. And these are all the ones that I could pull out of the code from Farm Tech that could be supported. And messages. Every message that comes from the console gets logged to a file. This is where I could get the data to do the statistics, like time between heat. It also helps me figure out how to calculate battery life, depending on, I can calculate how much power we dissipate in each state, and then how long it spends in each state based on the messages that get logged. Cadence colors, I'm still working on that, so I've got it disabled, but this is where we could go through and let you pick and play with what colors and what particular LEDs are illuminated for each stage of the start sequence, for what we call the ripple up and the stage down. It could be anything you want. You go inside out, outside in, left to right, right to left. And right now it's just be hard coded to want something I think's well, but it could be anything you wanted. And then exit just exits the application. And that's pretty much an overview. The point is, I think that the framework I use to build the graphical user interface is pretty easy to make this. It's not like the old days where it took a long time, very tedious to set up a graphical user space. It's pretty easy to drag and drop things onto a new something. So if we have anything we want to see, or styles, or colors, or sizes, all that's trivial to change and implement. Thanks for watching.